to my kind. Every day I'm being hard to this prey. My people don't want no trouble. We better no struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
This is Revolution Show.
The year is 2020, the number. Another summer, get down. Sound of the funky drummer. Music hitting the heart, cause I know you got soul. Brothers and sisters.
The information age got them seeing what's really wrong with these racist days. I honor the strong and pity the weak. Your thoughts run your life, be careful what you think. Haiti beat France in century 17. Salute Toussaint and Dessalines. And I do love France, know what I mean? It's a system I'm talking, nobody's agreeing. They say it's suicide when dead bodies are swinging. Cowards are hunting black men, that's what I'm seeing. How many toasters have been burnt down? And once Central Park was a thriving black town. Yo, Chuck, I'm fighting the power right now thanks to you, Flav and P.E. Putting it down, putting your life on the line so I can rap now. The next generation still singing Fight the Power.
Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be.
Police think they Wayne, 6'9" over the law. Wanna give us short sticks, but we really need a long. To the boys in the hood, ducking bullets and batons. From boys in the hood, triple K's on their arm. 4 fingers on my palm, screaming fight. Change the policy, defund, buy back our property. You love Black Panther, but not Fred Hampton. Word to the Howards and the Aggies and the Hamptons. They book us, won't book us, I'm Booker. T. Washington, George Kill for 20. Think about it, that's 2,000 pennies. The value black life, the cost of going to Wendy's for a 4-quarter burger. Ended in murder. Fight for Brianna and the pain of her mama. Gotta fight the power.
Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be.
Yeah, generations is how long we've been at war. The revolution on all platforms. You break a man's mind and it's back yours. Solidarity is what I'm wearing all black for. For comrades who don't fought without me. It's not to try and change our thoughts about me or to redirect your reports about me. Yeah, white people, you should take a course about me. Cause is it the long 4-finger ring? The sciences of the arts, the songs we can sing. I really wanna know why y'all so scared. Probably cause the promised land we almost scared. But look, I think of images that fuel my youth. Interviews by Craig Hodges and Abdul Raouf. Examples like Olympic black power salutes and Panther truth. I saw as I pursued my truth. If racism is a cancer, black thought's the answer. Gotta get up off the back porch. Emancipate your mind. Get your bodies back from ransom. Come on. And all black hands up for the anthem.
Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power.
Yo, check this out, man.
Bring that beat back, man. 2, 3, 4, hit it.
People, stronger than this evil. Smashing your power structure, melanin royal regal. System designed to kill and unprotect. Worldwide hit the streets just to get some respect. Our fight and our rights for freedom will never waver. Justice Breonna Taylor, salute Chuck and Flavor. Feel the same anger since Radio Raheem died. Black power to the people, push forward pride.
Fight the power like it's an octo. Born to fight, I made it off the block though. Thought he had a gun and he was black, that's the combo. The police killed George having a convo. They killed Malcolm X, they killed Dr. King. They gave us guns and dope, they wanna stop our kings. Trying to erase our history, stop and think. History class ain't tell us about Juneteenth. Cops don't give a damn about a Negro. Pull a trigger, kill a nigga, he's a key, bro. Living life on welfare. The last one who cared was Obamacare, round 12. Nose kinda bloody, gotta keep fighting. Trump through to North Korea, they respect violence. If you ain't trying to have your city on fire for some respect on our name, we come from gold and diamonds.
Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be.
Keep you connected.
Log on to Strong Arm Radio right now.
It's all online.
For the latest news, exclusive videos.
Watch it anytime you want on demand right here.
Free giveaways and more from your new favorite station.
Check it out.
WSAR, Strong Arm Radio.
A young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but I look around and I see what's being done to my kind. Every day I'm being haunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We ain't fighting no struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
This is Revolution Show. The year is 2020, the number. Another summer, get down. Sound of the funky drummer. Music hitting the heart, cause I know you got soul. Brothers and sisters.
The information age got them seeing what's really wrong with these racist days. I honor the strong and pity the weak. Your thoughts run your life, be careful what you think. Haiti beat France in century 17. Salute Toussaint and Dessalines. And I do love France, know what I mean? It's a system I'm talking, nobody's agreeing. They say it's suicide when dead bodies are swinging. Cowards are hunting black men, that's what I'm seeing. How many toasters have been burnt down? And once Central Park was a thriving black town. Yo, Chuck, I'm fighting the power right now. Thanks to you, Flav and P.E. Putting it down, putting your life on the line so I can rap now. The next generation still singing fight the power.
Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be.
Police think they Wayne, 6'9" over the law. Wanna give us short sticks, but we really need a long. To the boys in the hood, ducking bullets and batons. From boys in the hood, triple K's on their arm. 4 fingers on my palm, screaming fight. Change the policy, defund, buy back our property. You love Black Panther, but not Fred Hampton. Word to the Howards and the Aggies and the Hamptons. They book us, won't book us, I'm Booker. T. Washington, George Kill for 20. Think about it, that's 2,000 pennies. The value black life, the cost of going to Wendy's for a 4-quarter burger. Ended in murder. Fight for Brianna and the pain of her mama. Gotta fight
the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be.
Yeah, generations is how long we've been at war. The revolution on all platforms. You break a man's mind in his backyard. Solidarity is what I'm wearing all black for. For comrades who don't fought without me. It's not to try and change our thoughts about me or to redirect your reports about me. Dear white people, you should take a course about me. Cause is it the long 4-finger ring? The sciences of the arts, the songs we can sing. I really wanna know why y'all so scared. Probably cause the promised land we almost scared. But look, I think of images that fuel my youth. Interviews by Craig Hodges and Abdul Raouf. Examples like Olympic black power salutes and Panther truths. I saw as I pursued my truth. If racism is a cancer, black thought's the answer. Gotta get up off the back porch. Emancipate your mind. Get your bodies back from ransom. Come on. And all black hands up for the anthem.
Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power.
Yo, check this out, man.
Bring that beat back, man. 2, 3, 4, hit it.
People, stronger than this evil. Smashing your power structure. Melanin Royal Rico. System designed to kill and unprotect. Worldwide hit the streets just to get some respect. Our fight and our rights for freedom will never waver. Justice Breonna Taylor. Salute Chuck and Flavor. Feel the same anger since Radio Raheem died. Black power to the people. Push forward pride.
Fight the power like it's an octo. Born to fight, I made it off the block though. Thought he had a gun and he was black, that's the combo. The police killed George having a convo. They killed Malcolm X, they killed Dr. King. They gave us guns and dope, they wanna stop our kings. Trying to erase our history, stop and think. History class ain't tell us about Juneteenth. Cops don't give a damn about a Negro. Pull a trigger, kill a nigga, he's a key, bro. Both living life on welfare. The last one who cared was Obamacare, round 12. Nose kinda bloody, gotta keep fighting. Trump through to North Korea, they respect violence. If you ain't trying to have your city on fire, put some respect on our name. We come from gold and diamonds.
Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be. Elvis was a hero the most, but he never meant to me. You see, straight up racist, the sucker was simple and plain. Cause I'm black and I'm proud, I'm ready, I'm hyper, I'm amped. Most of my heroes don't appear no stamp. Sample all look back, you look and find nothing but Reginald for 400 years if you check. Don't worry, be happy. Was a #1 jam. Damn if I said you could slap me right here. Get it. Let's get this party started right. Right on, come on. What we got to say? Power to the people, know the lay. Make everybody see in order to fight the powers that be.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Ask Mathis. I'm your host, Reginald Mathis, and rocking with me is my brother, Wildman Teddy T, a.k.a. Baron Theo Mound Builder. What it do, sir?
How's it going?
Yes, indeed, man. And of course, man, behind the wheels of steel, man, if we have, you know, the equipment and the lights and whatnot, you know it's none other than Dr. Spock himself, DJ Newkirk. What's up, bro? Well, that's Teddy T, man. I'm surprised he don't got his lunch going on, man.
Yeah, like Ted always leaves me out. Nobody gets the opportunity to hear me. You know, he said because I'm light-skinned he don't like me like that.
He eating his lunch, so you know what it is with Teddy, bro. You get what you get. Teddy gonna keep it 1,000 with you, huh? And and of course, man, we bringing something to you. Bringing someone to you, man. We're bringing a South Florida legend. To you, none other than Tracey. How are you? Welcome to Ask Mathis. This is a long time coming.
Oh, you would think I would know that.
It's a long time coming, Miss Tracey.
What's up, y'all?
Hey.
How are you? Listen, I love Planet Flow here.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, it's hot. We're in the hot box today.
We definitely are.
Yeah.
And how? So we lost a little cool power in here.
Well, we are upgrading our green room next door, so they have to do all the electrical. So that's why I feel like we have to suffer to live better.
You know
that's how it works. This is life in here.
No pain, no gain.
And if you get too cold, you can go over to the business side, go use the bathroom. Soak up a little air conditioning.
Right. That's right. None other than Betty Wright on the wall. Our sister Jill Tracey's here, man. But, Teddy T is huge on giving flowers, man. And we've had the likes of Disco Rick up in here, Michael Sterling and Betty Wright, rest in peace. And, many of the legends and, JT Money and just many of our legends, and Miss Jill Tracey is here with us right now, and
who did the wall? It's beautiful.
MB the GOAT, who's here. MB. We brought MB down from Atlanta 8 years ago, and he never went back. Wow. Now he's 2 kids in and a wife, so he ain't going back.
Okay.
But he does all the graphics for the Migos, for Lil Baby, QC, City Girls, all of, I want to say all the album covers for Flow going back to probably My House. So
nice.
he's a gifted, talented brother. He's done some original work for Kodak Black and Lamar Jackson. I mean, the brother is gifted. He's gifted. But we here to talk about you.
Okay.
And one thing we was talking about, is just going back in our journey, here in South Florida, knowing that you come from Detroit. And when we started, a company back in the day called Millennium Movers, our goal and mission was to try to combat the brain drain of urban professionals, anybody that had any kind of mind, they was like, man, I'm leaving, I'm going to Atlanta, I'm going to New York, I'm going to Cleveland, we're going somewhere where there's culture, because there's no black culture here in South Florida. And so for, over 10 years, that's what we did. We, we frequented the poetry spots, we had the, my man Demas, and doing this thing with Funk Jazz Lounge, and Ingrid B is still doing you know what she's doing, and
on the B side.
On the B side, and then we've just seen you and everything that you've done, and you didn't necessarily come out and say that this is the mission, but it's definitely we considered you an ally, with this, just talking sense to the people, talking things that they just need to know, man, and just want to know what have you found in your journey, your 30-year journey down here in the media industry in South Florida. Like, what do you love about it, and what do you feel, still needs to be changed?
Oh my God, where do I start? I'm from Detroit, of course, so the weather kept me. I never liked cold. The rest of my family's from Chicago. That was not an option. Once I got down here, I left Detroit, whatever year it was, coming to Flomo.
Ah, and, James Williams and all them boys from Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, because we all went, that was like all around the same period. And I left Detroit in a snowstorm. I got here, it was like 80 degrees and the sun was shining. And once I got on campus, I was like, you could just send me everything else because I'm never coming back.
I ain't never coming back. Put your mama on the phone.
Thank you.
I ain't never coming home.
And Florida Memorial, I went to Cass Tech High School, which was sort of a model for the School of Performing Arts and Fame. And so it was very multicultural. It was a little bit of everybody. And then I got down here to Flomo, Florida Memorial College, as it was at that time, but now it's university. And it was just black folks doing the most. And I was like, in heaven.
Well, you love it now. They got a whole band and a football team now.
I teach out there. I was there yesterday.
Okay.
And so, I just really dug in. And I didn't, Wesley Frater, who does, are you going? Will you be there
for the
this
HBCU picnic?
Yes.
If I don't go to Chicago.
Well, no, not the picnic, the golf tournament.
Oh, okay.
At Naples, Ritz-Carlton Naples. It's Friday to Sunday.
Okay.
I'll send
scheduled to go to Chicago.
This weekend.
We're Chicago and then to Calgary, Canada. But we shall see. We shall see.
Well, it's this weekend, so no. Okay. So maybe the next one.
Yes.
In any event, we were just, like a little tribe, and I remember him, and he says it all the time, right, coming up to me saying, well, what are you going to pledge? And I thought it was going to be AKA until I saw them pledge them. And I was like, nothing. I'm going to start my own.
Right.
And so I started K5P, which was Kinky Five People. Because nobody at that time knew my name. Everybody called me Kinky Pink.
Ooh.
So, right. They didn't know my name until I started working for Luke.
Right. You sound like Teddy T. Teddy T started a fraternity at Florida Memorial. What was the name of your fraternity?
Club 117.
Club 117. Okay.
Yep. Build it and they will come.
Yes.
So, it was, and then we got thrown off campus and the Qs took us in, and then somebody's hair caught on fire at one of our parties, and that was kind of, it just kind of changed after that.
Your confidence, your voice, where does that come from? Is that from your parents? Does that come from the school that you were saying, like the performing arts school? Like, because you're so confident that it just, you hear it over the radio. It's just like when you come in, it just spews confidence and give her what she wants.
Well, you know what? Well, thank you. That's good to know. But I think I was sharing with the young lady outside that I was raised by 7 generations of women. There was not a man born in my family in 7 generations.
Wow.
Exactly. So I knew nothing else. I knew the diversity. You should think of Women of Brewster's Place, that whole kind of concept. I didn't know anything else. All the men left. They either died or they left or whatever. They just weren't there. So I was raised by women who, I got the impression that I was going to have to raise myself. And especially because I was leaving and nobody was going with me. And so, it was by accident.
Right.
really
Necessity is the mother of invention.
And I mean, and that works both ways. But I would say now, after
so you're a baby that listens now.
Yeah, now I am.
Now you are.
Yeah.
Now you are. Oh,
Before you couldn't get a word in edgewise.
Right.
Now,
right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it is. We have the great Jill Tracey here on Ask Mathis. Definitely a pleasure to finally get you here in person. Teddy being all shy. Why you being shy today, Teddy? Like,
I'm not shy.
You just doing something else. You just distracted. You just distracted.
You opened up, and I want you to talk, and then you'll throw it to me.
Well,
and then I'll come in.
I need you to come in right now, because she told me something about being outside of the Marlin. And, we were talking about the Marlin the other day, but you didn't tell me this part of the Marlin, that you had shop set up across the street. What was you doing across the street, Teddy, at the Marlin back in the day?
See, we had a editing suite because we used to do Luke's freak shows.
Yeah.
So we was down on Meridian first, and then we moved up to Collins across the street from the Marlin. So we would have,
which then became Video Jukebox.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like we was just back and forth, because we was always getting footage. Luke's office was right there behind the Marlin. So like that was just the whole mix. And then we go to Onyx, and what's his name? The hypnosis.
Lenny
Moore, Al B, Blue.
Al B Silk.
Yes, all of us. It was like
Where
the same.
Al B? I lost track of him in Ohio.
I don't know where he's at now. But it was just that whole little. We was like the Rat Pack of Miami. We called it. You know what I mean? And it would be like one time Al had a party at his house, and Luke and Jill and everybody came. Everybody had to take their shoes off. Even Luke took his shoes off. And then I threw a party at Luke's house every New Year's for like 5 years. Like every year, I threw a party at Luke's house.
Yeah.
He'll be like, Teddy, put the party together, okay? Then 1 year he finally gave me a budget, and that was incredible. But it's like we just
all. You're not gonna just like let it sit there for a minute. That was
incredible. Because he always knew I
tell you stories.
I could make things happen. So it was like he'd always cut everything that I did. Like, no, I know you're gonna pimp my name. You know how to pimp my name. You're gonna be somewhere making $3 a person walking to a club because you got the Luke van. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. So
Teddy, get it off the muscle.
Okay, would you agree that Luke's Miami Beach was like the end of that? Oh, that Luke's Miami Beach was the end of that era.
I would say Miami Beach. When he did that, it started it, and then when Onyx, Onyx kind of like, because Onyx became that club afterwards. You know what I mean? And then
was Onyx after Luke's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Onyx was after Luke's.
Damn. Okay.
And because that was
that's a little funny.
That's how I got traded to Onyx.
Okay.
Because Donovan wanted me to come over there because he wanted to start a label, and he's like, every time every time Luke took over the club, I put so much posters, I put the whole area look like it was Luke's club, so he would be like, I want Teddy, so they traded me to Onyx, but Onyx was that real, because it was like Chris Styles, but it was just, we bought way more artists, we bought everybody to Onyx, and it was like, Donovan, Peter Thomas, started out with Donovan, Peter Thomas, the whole element like that, and Zoe was just, his name was on it. I know Donovan used to be like, Zoe ain't paying for nothing over here. I'm paying for everything. But it was like, with all of us, it's like Jill was on the radio. I was doing the Luke show, and then Albie put me on the radio. So it was like we was already connected, even going back to my Uncle Wiz. Yep. Wiz introduced me to the radio a long time ago, so I already knew everybody. So, Jill and me and her mother, like, that was my crew. Like,
whose mother?
Jill.
Your mama came down from Detroit? Hold on.
Man.
My mother came, I brought her down for one of her birthdays. Took her to Club New. Mm-hmm. She was like, she went home, retired from Chrysler.
And came back.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, my mom could hang harder than me.
Oh, man.
Wow.
They would be I'd be like, I'm out. Yeah. They'd be hanging with my mother.
Yeah, make sure she get home. Like,
right.
Whoa.
Like, whoa. We're out here, living. You know what I'm saying? And it was just
like, Teddy said her mama?
Right.
Yes.
apple tree.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
And I'm talking about a lot of parties. Like, she would come, sit right by me. Whatever I was doing, I couldn't, I had to be there and be with them now. You know?
That's dope, man. The great Jill Tracey's in the house, and she's in the building, and, she's doing some things. You can find her, on the morning show. You can find her doing her thing on Hot 105 now.
It's everywhere.
And
I like it when you host, when you've been on with Sko, when you host the afternoon show.
We have fun there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now I have done everyday party.
Yep, and I can tell. I've seen
Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But versatility is the key to survival.
But I was going to ask you that, so you mentioned like you were going out to L.A. and done the show. How did that come about with going to L.A.?
With Iyanla, I was, oh my God, I was working in the back of CP's store. They had, I can't remember why, but a bunch of us got fired from EDR. It was like 99, maybe 2000, I can't remember. But CP had a store, the first one at next to Studio 183.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to start carrying plus sizes. So he wanted me to go to Magic for him and buy for the store. That's how we got hooked up. And, what's that dude? Anyway, and my fondest memory from there is Rick Ross used to come after work and sit in the back and smoke a joint with us, and the guy that made the T-shirts, I can't get his name now.
D.
But
D.
And
that was our spot back there.
So and
everybody came back.
That I was driving to work one day and I heard it on the radio. If you want to start your life over, come to this casting. And so I went and they said, "What do you, why do you want to start over?" I was like, "Because I need to get my shit together." They all looked at me like, "That's great TV. Let's go." And literally, and she did. I was reading Acts of Faith just like I do now on my last.
I was going to ask you that because you always come with the Acts of Faith.
I was reading that then, and I was like, "Yep." And then it happened. I was like, when I heard on the radio, I was like, "Oh, that's a godsend. That woman was sent to help me get my shit together." And I went, and I think I will say to those aspiring, just like Flo had that energy. We'll talk about him later, but when you put something out there and you want it to happen, I find a lot of times people don't believe it's gonna happen. They want it, but they don't believe.
Right.
They get stuck in there. Well, how's that ever gonna happen? And that's what that taught me. If you believe it enough, just walk in that.
Yeah.
And if you're a crazy woman at the end of your life walking up and down the sidewalk, then maybe that's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
But if you don't believe it, you know what I'm saying? You're guaranteed to be that crazy woman walking up and down the street.
No doubt.
And and every hand of God, my life has been in alignment like that. I haven't really planned any of it, but I was prepared for all of it.
Hey, I can definitely identify with that. You miss every shot you don't take.
Exactly.
You got to do it. You got to get out there, but you prepare and you plan to succeed, and you succeed because you plan. But you got to do it. Like, you can't just sit there and wait and think somebody's just going to come with the magic slipper, try it on your foot, and then it's like, you got to get out there. You got to do it. You got to make it happen.
Right.
And I think that's one of the issues when we try to figure out what it is about South Florida. I say it's like when Puffy came down to Miami, I say it's akin to Christopher Columbus, finding, a million Native Americans, down in Hispaniola, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, say, "Oh, there's nobody here. I'm just going to plant this flag."
Right.
And folks let them come down, and then Luke started saying, "Hey, we got all these folks that's coming into town, and they getting all our stuff, and why they came with some capital one, and they did not rely on any of us, and then the few that they did rely on opened all the doors for them, which really got us mad.
Right.
Which really got us mad because the folks that was here, like Teddy T was one of those guys who, was in with Uptown Records and whatnot, and so Uptown came down there. They tapped on Teddy, and Teddy gave him the keys and opened up all the rooms.
It was Luke. I mean, Luke did it from the beginning. Puppy didn't do nothing down here without Luke.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Toto used to live at the house, and even when Luke was asked to leave Miami, he went to New York and was up there with them. So it was like Luke and Puppy it was a crazy tandem together. That was like a whole situation. Like, we got to wait to see what they're gonna do. Because they was like real petty, arguing about $20. And just watching the growth. And then when Luke came down at Biggie, Biggie complained to Luke first, like, man, I'm broke. I was making all this money. Luke said, that's because you don't own. I own everything. I own the studio. I own the record store. I own everything. And then that's when Biggie went back, got the little money, came back down and recorded Players Anthem here. Like, Ron May was the go-to. Ron May, oh, man, listen to this record. Like that, what really makes South Florida, it was that everybody who came in clicked in with the people who was here and who came in. Like, these people didn't come in by themselves. They came in, and we already had a network. The whole point was everybody wanted to come to figure out how we were selling records and how we was moving records. So they would come in and be like, okay, you're doing this, and it costs this much here. Let's do it. And it's just the continual paying. It involved these people to be able to come in the South. Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, and then the Latin people became their fan base. We worked all those records to the Latin people, and then that's what spawned that.
So why wasn't it able to happen on that type of scale for folks from here?
Well,
it wasn't.
But we was like what Luke was already doing.
And Luke did not create other Lukes. Like when Ted Lucas came, behind Luke, they can all say that Luke touched them, but they did not.
Well, that's a different story now with Ted Lucas.
I mean, but it's like
they shared.
The thing is, it's like when in the back of the days, our artists had to. If any New York artist that came to the South had to have South Florida artists come to perform with them because they wouldn't know them because we worked the streets. These people was on TV.
All right, so you name all the bad boy artists, all the Uptown artists. So name the Florida artists that benefited from that.
I mean, it was
that's
none.
The point.
That's the point. They already had.
That's the point.
They already had their thing. Like JT was already JT Money.
But I understand what he's saying because JT Money never became LL Cool J.
Well, no, when he went to Dallas Austin, then Dallas Austin flipped him, and he, that's when he got his, but it's like.
But to the point.
Right.
What I'm saying? I can't walk anywhere in the world and say, JT Money.
You feel me?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Now, you're so close to it, Teddy, that you feel you see that folks, came up from what they in the grind and the hustle, but objectively from a macro perspective, and you come down and you look, it's a dead zone. It's like South Korea and North Korea. If you're looking at it from the satellite, North Korea is like dark, and South Korea is like
City of Lights.
City of Lights. Mm-hmm. And it's just saying that in South Florida, what is it about here that the game hasn't been replicated or duplicated? People don't like to cooperate with each other.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say that there is maybe the only thing that I can really think distinctively, right, is that up the way, Chicago, New York, even LA, there were more concentrations of people together. Mm-hmm. When I got to Florida, it didn't seem as concentrated as, like in Detroit, everybody of a certain income lived in the Brewster Projects. Everybody. It was not, all over town. Here, every little pocket had its project, the Brown Sub and this and that and the third and another. And I think that kind of diluted that.
Too many bosses.
Yeah, it was so many little pockets where we only had a few.
When you come see, I come in with my Uncle Wiz, with Jerry Russian and Joe Fisher. I come with the beginning of
WRBD.
The foundation. You know what I'm saying? These were all my teachers. Like, I came down here too. I came from Illinois. You know what I'm saying? And I came and I did what I did because based off of what I knew, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I start teaching the people here, and I think that's just the number one is passing down the education.
Torch. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
Without
saying?
a doubt.
But that's when we all went to Luke. Working for Luke was Luke University. Like we got to learn everything that happened in a national setting at Luke's.
Yes.
And that's what made us be able to go and work at national record labels because we worked for Luke.
So, so now this, I need some holy water to throw on myself while I say this shit. So how did Weinberger get in the building?
With Luke going back and forth to New York, you know, all New York artists, all New York people had Jewish lawyers. And it was the same time when Public Enemy got rid of, CBS got rid of Public Enemy because of Professor Griff. Mm-hmm. And Luke brought in Professor Griff.
Right.
So at the same time, I don't understand why we'd have to ask him to really figure out, like, why would you take a Jewish lawyer knowing you just took Jewish enemy number one in.
Right. And you got so many niggas is down from Luke's Miami Beach that are lawyers and are all over the country. Why didn't you hit them
Because that was like in New York, like, you know, Luke always was learning as he went along. You know what I mean? So once he got to New York and he started seeing everybody had Jewish lawyers, everybody was getting Jew money. I mean, Def Jam come from
Cohen.
Rick Rubin and then
Leo Cohen.
Leo Cohen. That's both Jews, you know what I'm saying? So that's the storyline for the music business. You know what I mean? Get you a Jew and you could do
Tom Moskowitz.
What's his name? Easy E.
Tommy Boy.
Easy E and what's his name?
Aretha. I mean, you know,
that's
everybody.
That's the element. Like that was the old school
Jerry
thing.
Heller.
Because the Jewish mafia, like when I bought Nick Solano on here, he explained you had the Jewish mafia, the Italian mafia, and the gay mafia, and this is what ran the record business in the 80s.
Yes, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the element, and then Miami was the location where everything was at. Hot Records, the Caribbean, like Miami was just like it was open. There was no unions. There was no anything. So you could come down here and do whatever you want to do. You know, even
and the fashion industry, you know, give the fashion industry credit because they brought it down here. They came down here. It was like, this is good. And that was about the time that they were all South Beach was just all older Jews.
That's it.
They would leave New York and come down here to on the beach.
Yep.
And then their kids started coming down here and that were in the business in New York and were like, oh my God, the backdrop. And then they started shooting down here and it was over after that. And then it was Goodfellas. I mean, no, that's New York. Scarface. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then Miami Vice and The World, and then Will Smith. Welcome to Miami. Boom. Done. It's over. None of it, and then the locals had nothing to do with none of that.
I mean,
none of it.
Russell started at the bathhouse with Versace. You know what I'm saying? He started it then. He took the bathhouse back to New York, and then everybody just started coming down getting. They was like, the main thing about artists from New York was because they was getting major budgets. They would get $1 million production budget, and now you could come to Florida and get you a house, a boat. You could get you everything with that budget and live heavy for 6 months.
They don't have some money.
So that's what everybody was doing. That was the whole element. So for us, it was like we never had budgets like that because we're independent.
Yeah, we getting it off the muscle.
You know what I'm saying?
Not answering to nobody, but we get what we get.
And then you got people like who was connected. So when Jay-Z, Ja Rule, and everybody
Oomps around.
Office at the office.
Yeah, Oomps around. Oomps around.
Yeah.
Oomps around.
So wait a minute, is the one you got the $7 million?
No.
8,
no,
9,
we can't
12
talk about
million.
that. We can't talk about
8.7, but no.
that was a
Baby,
different
just give me
era.
the right number. Okay, go ahead.
But so Oomp had the Ja Rule, the Jay-Z's, and everybody. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It was like that's what made South Florida was the individuals who had to connect with the people. It was hard to translate down because it was like really one-offs. Like, I just need you to do this for me. Boom. I need you to do this
there
for
you
me.
go.
Boom.
Now you're talking to me, baby.
You know,
now you're talking to me, but the one-offs.
The one-offs.
Understand the one-offs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You know, the one-off versus the business.
Right.
You know, the one-off, the licks and the jugs. And South Florida is, you know, notorious for the lick and the jug. We coming to get this money. We coming to do this caper, as opposed to this is the career that we're building, and we're doing this or whatever.
But like, you do have some. You just mentioned you do have some. I didn't know that the office was his. I have to go say hey and pay homage because I mean, oh my God, there are so many great memories with all of them. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think the frustration, and we were all like intertwined some kind of way.
Right.
Working together.
But the frustration is then why weren't we able to build like the gays did? They built the entire fashion industry. That's all theirs. The club scene really became Russians and Latins.
I think
really, did that, and we just kind of
I think it
rented a lot of spaces.
I agree, and I think it kind of goes with something that Teddy was saying is that, our folks were learning as they were going. Same thing. I was just talking to this young kid, very, very, very impressive young man from Howard University, and he's saying, he wants to go into law. And I said, well, you're doing something I never did, which is talk to a lawyer. I did not know a single lawyer until I got in law school. That's kind of backwards. Yeah. I didn't know what type of lawyers there were, what you can do, and really even how to become one. And it was like you learning, and someone else just mentioned the same, Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes just gave an interview, and he was like, man, up until this point, I was learning as I was going. So, we got paid here and there and doing this and doing that. But he was like, now I know to the point that I can teach, like you said, Teddy, and disseminate some of this information. And I think in South Florida, our parents, my mom taught for 50 years. Like you get you a job, you retire from that job, and you live out the rest of your days. And when that entrepreneurial spirit hit, you didn't have a whole lot of people who could do it, and you didn't have the confidence either in yourself or the pride to tell somebody else, man, I really don't know. So it's like you faking it till you making it. So you had a lot of that going on. So it was easier for people to come from the outside who probably was just a little bit because they made it here. Because to go to another place, to go to somebody else's place, you've already
I'm gonna tell you what
gotten
really,
a little bit.
What opened it up for us was when Cedric Hollywood came here. I never forget the day Luke came in the office and he said, boy, let's get ready. Cedric is coming to be the program director. And he said I could do a mix show. And I was like, whoa. And I already knew who Cedric was from Orlando. I already been working with Cedric, So I'm like, oh, that's going to open up. You know what I mean? And then he brought in Al B. And Al B was like, he was new, but he didn't have that circle. So he just grabbed me like, boom. You know what I mean?
And Al B, that was the thing.
And it was like from that point on, we was able to open up to all the artists. That was when Trick got on, Trina got on. That's when Pretty Ricky got on. We did Pitbull. All the people that got the major deals happened during that time period when Cedric Hollywood was at 99 Jams. And then we went to Power and then kicked it up stupid. You know what I'm saying? So from 98 to, let's say, 2005, because even Flo came in at
2007.
Yeah, But I remember he was already bubbling in 2005.
Yeah, the birthday, 2000, the Super Bowl
Grind
down
Mode
here.
and all that. You know what I'm saying? So all these people was benefiting from the radio because we had it wide. Like the whole time we was at 99 Jams, Jerry Rushing pretty much let us do what we wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how I learned radio because it was not too many people there with the responsibility to learn it from my side. Like it was a bunch of, not a bunch, but people that was in there. I'll be let me get in. And it was like, I'm just paying attention to what's going on. I learned how to work the computer. I learned how to work because he would always be gone and it'd be dead air. So I learned how to stop the dead air,
Okay.
And it's like, I just learned how to do radio from default, and it's like, that's how we are in Miami. Like nobody went to school to be marketing. Like in Atlanta, they go to Clark. Lil Jon went to Clark. You know what I'm saying? Shaka went to Clark. Like, these guys.
Spike Lee. Even though he graduated from Morehouse,
Right.
but all his classes was at Clark because that was the communication school.
So that's the difference. Is like when Ross said this line, it really made sense. He said people down here learn how to sell weed and white before they learn how to read and write. Like when I came to school down here,
Oh, that's a good one.
the classes that I had in 7th grade, they was trying to give me in 9th grade and 10th grade. Like I didn't go to school 9th and 10th grade. I got no grades because I already took these classes up north. You know what I mean? So it's an educational gap is the reason why.
It's definitely that. Any kid with a behavioral issue down here, they put them down here. They call it SLD. Put them in the SLD.
The slow bus.
The short bus, the portables, like segregated. I remember my homie. Parents were divorced, and his dad lived in Cleveland. So, and his mom was a whole teacher down here. And
a whole teacher.
And when I would see him in school, bruh, they treated him like Hannibal Lecter. Like, we had one of them open classes where we didn't have like closed rooms. So it was just like dividers. And when they would have to walk through as a class to go to the restroom, it'd be like 8 of them. They had to hold hands and they would be playing to the people like they really were like lions and tigers. Like we would kill y'all if we get away. They give you that look.
Right,
so I'm like, bruh, you my dog, but I thought you was really. And he came back from Cleveland. He started speaking differently. I said, bruh, what happened to you? He said, man, they don't even have SLD up here. Everybody in here, you just got to do it. And I'm in regular classes. I really thought he was slow, but it was just the education system is just way terrible. Different down here.
I mean, and to the point we were making earlier, it's very calculated.
Yeah.
And they could still do that in the South. They couldn't do it up north.
And it was dope because like back then, like when Trick and Trina got on, because Trick really paid attention to how things got started and who was the elements of who did it. So when they did Take It to the House, I remember there was like Jill's got to be in Take It to the House because you was like, for media, what I want to say, like you got the Rona Barrett, you got all these people that have been the media. That's what Jill Tracey is to
there
Miami.
You go, Rona Barrett. That's from good times.
Jill Tracey is that to Miami, and it was like at that point, it was like everybody appreciated Jill for being that element. Like everybody who did everything.
When she would come on, you would stop. If you got to where you was going in the car and you about to go, you would just stop, listen to what she got to say, and then you clear. And I was also talking beforehand about Wendy Williams. It's like the first time I saw Wendy Williams, and I love her dad and I love her brother, my frat brothers and whatnot, and they good. But I was just like, hey, she owe you a check. As my man Juvenile said to Billy Blue, man, you owe me a check, bruh.
Okay.
What you say about that?
I had met Wendy, I want to say maybe about, that's back when they used to send us to all the award shows. And I would always run into her in the radio room. And she was, but, in the country, she was that shit that was blowing up. And,
right. Teddy T?
It's so wrong, but I'm going to say it. I remember thinking I could outlast her because she a crackhead. I mean, because, and I really, and,
Jill Tracey.
But that's the difference. It's
but
like,
you know what?
It's like even when she was at Hot 105, it's like for me, I could tell it was like they only wanted her, like she should have been had a show. Like hearing her on the radio now.
Right.
That should have been going on.
It's like Wendy peaked Jill, and then just said, and when it got her stuff together and got her team together, and then
she was in New York.
And was up in New York and just took it, and that's what I see. A lot of stuff going on. Even what you were saying earlier, you said Puffy came down here, probably got so much game from Luke because they all respected what he was doing, being independent. But folks not also knowing that many of the folks from the South, all we wanted to do was be recognized, like Outkast at the Source Awards. The South got something to say. And you do, man. If somebody, if if Tribe Called Quest or Public Enemy had come and tapped Outkast at that time and said, come with us, they may not have become who they were because we just wanted acceptance.
That's it.
But Puffy came in, learned from Luke, got all the game from Luke, and went up there and lapped Luke.
Boy.
You know, and lapped it.
Everything. I mean, even to the point, like, you know, Luke, every time we did a show, Luke would be like, okay, if you got a Florida license, who got a Florida license, come, you know, get you some oral. And the people would be like, the Price is Right. Running to the stage. So when we did the Bad Boy tour, Puff was like, all right, anybody that go to jail, I'm going to give them 500. You know, just scream Bad Boy. Like, let that be the start. Everybody, and like all this Puff's whole street team was all criminals. So it was easy. They was drawing straws to see who was going to go to jail tonight. And he didn't care if it was 2 or 3 because it was the whole element of Bad Boy. Because he saw Luke do it. He saw what Luke was doing, and he was like, man, this is okay, I got it. And that's how he broke in.
And shout out to Jeezy, who, you know, Jeezy gives so much props to South Florida and Fort Lauderdale specifically. Folks was like, yo, no, Jeezy really was in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah,
like, he
came
really
to me.
was here.
That was JP. Like, I played his record on 99 Jams. I played Jeezy's first record. I made his first mixtape. Like, Jeezy was with my homeboy, and my homeboy brought him to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that was the element. It was like, back then, it was like I was the plug to a lot of celebrities, Yin Yang,
and you ain't get paid for it.
Oh, I got paid for it.
You got broke off.
I got my budget to be able to promote.
You got broke off, bruh. You got broke off, but you ain't get the money based on what you really did and your contribution because you did not know your value and your full worth back then, and you didn't have a me in your corner to be like, Teddy, let's do boom, 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 boom. You got it off the muscle, and that's what was lacking, and that's what we had to change.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say that he didn't know the value. He knew the value, but and a lot of people, the difference I think in a lot of people in the South is that you know the value, but you can't get a team strong enough together
to make it
to stay on mission with you. And then you end up doing everything. Now you tired and burnt out. And it's like, fuck.
It's like what we learned.
Those are the jewels.
Like we learned, like me and Greg Street called me right before we started Hitman DJs, right when I was doing Pretty Ricky. And he say, Teddy T, me and you probably broke all the Southern artists in the last 3 years. He said, so I'm going to put you up on game like somebody put me up on game.
Right.
We supposed to be making these people give us finder's fees. Right. And I was like, yeah. He said, we supposed to get 10 to 15% off of every person that comes in. So I immediately got off the phone. Hey, Blue, I need a finder's fee. Okay, Teddy, I got you 15%. I called TJ. TJ, you got to stop letting them artists come and perform at TJ's and they getting deals. We're not getting no money. You know what I'm saying? We got to start. Like, it was when the information came, we threw it back out because
but it was
it had to come, you know. And then it was like they had to. Everything is, remember back then the game is to be sold, not told. So you had to be with people that actually saw you had something and allowed you in. You know what I mean? It was like, I never forget with Loud. When Loud came and gave Luke a deal, and they gave Luke $200,000 to shoot a video. Luke shot the Freak Fest movie with that $200,000. You know what I'm saying? His brother hung out with me for a night and gave me 3 single deals for $250,000. I signed 3 different artists just from hanging out with this dude, being Wild Man Teddy T. You know what I'm saying? So it was like back then, even like Ice Cube with Ron May, what's his name, Jermaine Dupri. It was like there was key people that was with Luke that took advantage of the surroundings, and we couldn't bring everybody because everybody couldn't really grasp what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't know what we were. It was brand new. Street promotions, you know, doing radio, and you know, me and Papa Keith was like the first people to get on radio without a college degree. You know, so now they're just picking people to be on the radio. It was a whole new change that, and they're like, well, why they picked him? Why they, you know what I mean?
And you all, but at the same time, you all created underground radio that made Jerry and James come get you.
And DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled, we first heard him, you know, with, what was the lady? The lady was the one that I thought on the Mix 96.
Bo Griffin.
No. On Mix 96 when the underground
Mix.
the underground
Yeah.
station.
Mix does not get enough credit.
Mix 96 when they had what was that they had on Fridays the
Rockers Island.
No, the party they had every Friday, the Madhouse.
Madhouse is in the turn to Rockers Island on Amnesia.
Yeah, Madhouse.
Butterfuco. I mean, like Butterfuco, which is We the Best.
Yep.
Like Butterfuco is everything. Khaled came and played on my first show, and because Khaled was a producer, and they told Khaled I got beats. I got artists. So I got Khaled a $5,000 check for meeting me within 30 minutes for first platoon, and from there I put Khaled on Luke's show. Cause I said this dude is gonna change the game. He need to be on the show, And he was on Al B's show for a week. He was too much for Al B. Al B was like, no, I don't want this. So he went back to Mix 96. Me and Pop, I couldn't be on Soul Syndicate as much because I was already doing 3 other stations, and I just got my own station in Fort Lauderdale. So it was like we was all over the place. We couldn't really do it. So Khaled came at a perfect time to sit there all day and do radio because he had no other choice. So that's how people really got to hear Khaled. But at the same time, we put him in the place because like he was already producing. Like he was making records. He did Boy. As soon as he met Fat Joe, he gave Fat Joe a bunch of records, and Fat Joe just gave him bread. Like people didn't understand what Khaled was doing.
Khaled was, listen, nobody. I mean, nobody out-hustled Khaled.
Right.
Nobody. He deserves every flower, every coin, because he never stopped. Talk about can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
Khaled would be selling you watches one day. He'd be CDs the next day. What you need? Shoot, whatever you need.
Yeah. When he had that purple Bentley or that purple at 99 Jams, it's like I didn't even understand the radio. I still don't understand the radio.
It's like, a lot of bodies in his wake.
I mean, because you got to think, like I said, by him being a producer, what he was doing, and he had the runners. He had the runners before everybody knew there was the runners. So all he was doing was he would give tracks to everybody, and then he'll be like, look, I'm going to give you this track, but I need you to come do my birthday party. I need you to come do my birthday party. I'm going to give you this track, but I'm coming to do my birthday party. So
and his birthday be hard.
That's the reason why he had everybody at his birthday party, because he was doing a barter. And then when he started doing the project, everybody was so hot that he was doing the project. Everybody worked for hire themselves. Nobody got publishing for Khaled's first 2 projects. He got all the publishing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's just how you get in and do it. And that's why I say people didn't like Khaled because they didn't understand his method of business. Yeah. He came in doing business. He didn't tell nobody he was a producer. He didn't tell people he was a producer.
All right. When he came in 99 Jams, his family owned a T-shirt store in the mall. I mean, that was his whole story. That they owned a T-shirt. But then, but he taught so much game to everybody that came behind him.
Yeah, because, I mean, he was already there to do it. It's like when I started working for Albie Silk, you know, I wasn't working for 99 Jams. I was already putting records on the radio. So they're like, you the drop man.
But what was his, well, I don't know. I guess, because when I say I'm thinking of the bodies in Khaled's wake. And I think a lot of that is to, you know, Reggie's point. It's like, why are there so many? When I think about a lot of those, you know, artists of that time from other markets, a lot of their people did spin off into success without them. It might have been print, whatever, make it, internet, whatever. Many more than did in Miami. A lot of people in Miami just fell off in that.
I mean, because like, think about it. Look how long Ball Greasy and everybody came out. Because here, you can make $250,000 right here as a mediocre artist.
Right, you wouldn't have to.
Like back from 2006,
that's a very good point.
From 2006 to 2009, Billy Blue, Briscoe, all of them was making money. They was getting $5 grand a show and getting booked 3 places a night between Dade and Broward. So everybody was complacent because they were making money. And that's what happens to everybody was making a second lot of money, and it was like, cool. Now, when all these other artists started coming in, and Khaled started
that ain't no money.
doing things, you know what I'm saying? Now people like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And then it was like too late because it took off. You know what I mean? Once 2006, 2007, The Juke came in, and then by 2010, it was the infrastructure of all the other artists bringing their budgets here to overrun the club scene. Easy came here. You know what I'm saying? And you got all of these, like, everybody seen DJ Khaled come here and do what DJ Khaled did, so everybody wanted to come here and be the next DJ Khaled. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Even the artists here, the DJs here was trying to figure out how to be DJ Khaled. You know, only thing, I've been trying to get Nasty. You know, he's releasing records, but I'm like, you have to produce the records. You just can't put your name on the records, because this is what DJ Khaled did. He was intellectual property involved with all his music.
All of his stuff.
You know?
Wow, that's what it is. What an interesting conversation, Teddy. I brought you in right on time because you done took us all the way to the end of this time, man. We have the great legend, Jill Tracey, here with us here on Ask Mathis. Miss Tracey, tell us what you got going on right now and how folks can follow you.
So yeah, I'm the news director at Hot now. And I'm on the Ricky Smiley morning show. And then sometimes on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, you know, whenever.
I see you at
Get In, We Fit In.
What's the thing with you and the Kingdom with James T?
Yeah, me and James T. It's a grown folks night. And don't forget Disco Rick. It's like 30 and over. Like, you got to be 30 to get in. And it is. It's like it's adjacent to G5.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice vibe. The first night I went, I was like, it reminds me of like a nice lounge in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just like go up in there. It's not, a whole lot of rah-rah, but you have a good time. You meet some interesting people, and it's that vibe. So yeah, we doing that. And we had Lenny Williams, week before last. Thank
Lenny
you.
Williams.
When I tell you Lenny Williams turned that out. It's something about old school. You know what I'm saying? Those that are still gigging.
That's that nostalgia.
Baby, you
It's
can't
all
beat
nostalgia.
that. You cannot beat it. So yeah, I'm doing that. And now that everything is kind of settled, working on cocktails, like how am I going to enter the YouTube space? You know, what do I want to do? So
because
it's a lot of
podcast. I think you definitely need to start thinking about a podcast.
Yeah, because a lot of the now that I'm on in the morning and then I'm on Sunday nights. The show's on at 11.
Mm-hmm.
I would literally have to sleep there.
Yeah,
to make that happen. But before, in the beginning, when Hot Talk started, and I had 2 hours and it was live and I had live band, that was it.
Yes.
But then COVID and all that.
Yep.
So yeah, you're right. To that point, that is where, because it is this. It is the conversation. It's and people being able to sit down and have a cocktail and like be a part of it and listen to it, because to our point, we don't hear a lot of our stories. That's why Drink Champs became so famous so quick.
Yeah.
Because I can watch Drink Champs all day.
Yeah.
I can watch the LeBron show all day. I've binge watched that one so many times. And that's what it is. We're in a digital age where it's not hand to hand anymore. So we gotta run our jewels, you know what I'm saying, in the spaces where we can reach the most amount of people. So
it's like Nori. He came down here, was doing his album at the Marlin with what's his name? But he met EFN. We did a show at Onyx. We started a hip hop night on Thursdays, and EFN said that they would throw a picnic for him. So we took him down there, and they hit it off from that point on, and they've been friends ever since. And Nori had started getting to his Dominican roots, because when he was at CNN, he was like Fat Joe. He was from Queens and black.
Right.
But when he came to Miami, he realized he was Dominican, started doing reggaeton and rocking with EFN, and they started rocking with that at Revolt.
Yeah.
And because EFN had this show first going to discover hip-hop in all the different countries. That was on Revolt they produced, and from there they came into Drink Champs.
About that,
yeah, but it's like, I think, there's been a lot of people, like a Nori, that's come down here and been able to take advantage of the elements that were here. But the people here don't take advantage of the elements that are here.
Don't value.
Right.
Yeah, what is here.
And I think that's the difference.
Yeah, there's definitely that.
I was looking at a DJ. That started here. I'm not going to say his name, but it started here with, the Strong Arm. And I want to say about 8 years ago, and I saw a reel, just a random reel, and I was like, man, that looked like the guy who was here. And when I followed, it was him, and I looked and I saw like him with with Lil Baby, with Drake, with everybody. And, you know, we always say it down here, you have to go somewhere else
to get on.
Get on. And then when you come back, because when you telling folks that, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and you're here, they feel like, well, I'm here too.
Yeah, I can get it
so
too.
I can get it too. So it's like.
Okay, but to that, what explains the City Girls and this wave that we got now?
They went to Atlanta.
I mean, but they got on here.
They
got took to Atlanta.
They got on here, but they got took to Atlanta for the same thing to get you break. I mean, Flo was in L.A.
Right.
Flo was in L.A.
Right.
L.A. was gone 5 years. He was out there, and they had him to come back and, you know, stand with Jodeci and Flavor Flav, believe it or not. Like, they all lived together.
Yeah.
Flavor Flav, Jodeci, LB, all these artists, you know, learning under Devontae in particular. And, you know, when you come back, it's just like, yeah, man, where you been? Oh, man, I've been here, and there. And it's just something about it opens up to the folks that's here to say you've been somewhere else. It's just, because if you've been here and they've been seeing you every day, they feel like you ain't no better than me.
Right.
Seeing you every day.
But wouldn't that be the case wherever you know what I'm saying?
That's here. Yeah, but that's just here.
I think it's almost everywhere, too.
It is, but for some reason, right, it's like, if you from Chicago and you go back home, it's like, oh, nigga, you back.
Right.
I mean, you know, they gonna still hate it. Right. Exactly.
Okay.
And so, but what is it that they then, you know, a lot of those artists still come up, and a lot of ours don't.
Because a lot of
it's the business.
I think a lot of the artists, the artists who make it here, like even Luke, when folks look at Luke, and they say, well, H-Town, you want to get these guys from Houston. But they're down here representing Luke as opposed to bringing all the local guys, like rolling with a camp of, you know, I would say Po' Boy was probably, you know, the closest to just getting local talent and just repping with local talent all the time. You know, it's like, oh, you got to go get, you know, folks from somewhere else to put them on for folks to believe in you, because it's so easy to tear each other down when you say, oh, I know you, you done, you been ran through. Oh, these chicks right here, the ones that's talking, man, everybody done ran through them, blah, blah, blah. But then they go and get.
We've said that in this conversation.
There you go. But we appreciate you, and we really, really appreciate everything and what you mean to us, you know, South Florida, Miami, Pompano, Fort Lauderdale. Like, we really, really appreciate you, and finally get a chance to have this conversation. It was better than I expected, because you so real and raw. And keeping it 1,000, that's what we like. You didn't come in putting on the airs. It was like, nah, you got comfortable with us and just put it out there. We appreciate, we love you, and we want you to get everything, you know, that's coming to you.
All them gardenias. There you go.
I heard that.
All right, I got work. I got you to get back.
Yes, and I want to beat that traffic. Thank you. Send me the tape. I need tape.
Yes, Slip and Slide Records. Finna take it to the highs. Just get on up and get down.
All of my peoples all across the world. This song goes out to all the boys and girls. You want the thug to come and turn your body out. You better take it to the high.
Yes, sir.
Slip and slide, get loose. More punch than your bowl of juice. And ain't nobody more jiggy than us. Stuff so rough it causes head rush like whoa. Give it to me, bring it here. Don't stop, girl, shake it here, shake it there. Let Money Mark get off your every year. We off the chain for the whole year. So if you look good with a big old butt, live in your own crib and make your own bucks. Hit me up, TradePlus.com, and tell me where you from.
Smoke out, choke out, we get off the chain like we just broke out. You don't know about me, J-Dot. When I come through, all the haters get hot. Cause I got more dank, more cheese in the bank, more